Hold on, buddy. Hey, Fred, pull up a little bit. In case somebody else comes. Huh? You know the main man's here. Hey, listen. When I'm telling you, you're here with history and the makings, you are.
Dean Innocenzi and Freddie Batanti are two lifelong friends from Trenton, New Jersey, who once pursued their lifelong dream of playing music in their band Dog's Day. Fast Freddie wielded the guitar, Dazzy Dean smacked the bass, Pete Carter sang his heart out, and drumming responsibilities were split between Darren Voorhees and Mark Harding Jr., both of which refused to be interviewed for this documentary.
Good to see you boys, man.
Yeah, buddy.
It's only been, what, 25, 30 years?
Yeah.
Since we did what we did?
That's about right, Fred. Back in the mid-1980s, you were playing in a band called Fairchild, with soon-to-be Dog's Day vocalist Pete Carter. But that's enough from me. I think the band's got it from here.
Wow. Where is this from, man?
Baton.
Oh, really?
I don't have the one with the monster in it. I don't have that one.
Oh, the Halloween game?
The first one we did.
Wow, look at that. Hey, they were good times, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that basically how you guys wrote
Yeah.
songs?
Yes.
That's we didn't.
That's what we would do. We would get together.
We're the ones
we'd
that think
say
music.
something,
You
try
read
to.
music?
Nah,
I
not
feel hell out of it
anything
now.
that. Yeah, I just feel it, man. I mean,
feel it.
honestly, we could probably sit down at any given time and write 2 or 3 tunes. Pete with his excellent mindset of writing and lyrics, man.
Hard to say how I came up with all the words. It just, everything came to me. I walk around playing a drum beat all day in my head. I just walk and be like, and I just start singing anything that flies to me. But I'll read stuff, I'll come up with it, I'll look in a book. As soon as I see like a word just starts my whole process off. A couple kids in school had formed a band. I didn't even play anything yet. I didn't play anything. And they needed a bass player. So I actually went out, we were in 9th grade. I went and bought a bass and bought a bass amp. And I joined that band like the very next day. And I don't know how I did it, but I picked up bass and I picked it up within the first month, and we could never find a singer, so I put the bass down and started singing instead.
And that led to Fairchild?
That led to Fairchild, yeah, but that led to Fairchild years later than that. I mean, I went through high school playing with these kids and a lot of different people, and Freddie and Dean. I always tried to get Fred out of his band in high school, and he would never leave his band, and I didn't meet Dean till after, but it took till we graduated high school for me to get in touch with Fred to form Fairchild. It was always me and Fred, then we got a bass player, Steve Stryker. That was before Dean and Dog's Day. We had Steven Meyernick. Went through another bass player, Dougie, and then we went through Fred's brother Mike playing, and then everything came around, and then we ended up, Dean wanted to play guitar at first, and we told him better off if you buy a bass, and he bought a bass because he played guitar already, and he became the bass player at Fairchild.
For years they had different bass players, and me and Pete always hung out with each other. We wrote together, hung out together every day after the first day we met. They were like an 80s metal still. I really didn't care about sounding like anybody. I just like to play. And the difference was that Freddie has a groove to play to now where he can just let go on that guitar. I didn't try to match him. I wasn't trying to outplay him. I wasn't trying to do anything like a lot of guys do in bands. I was just wanted to hear him play. Sometimes I would just rock one note. better than anybody else. Just give him something to just lay some mean-ass leads down. I picked up a guitar when I was like 3 years old. Just wanted to play. Never took a lesson, just always wanted to play. And then I was out with my friend Al and my friend Dave. Al has a studio. Nothing going on, so let's go back and jam. Went back to his house. There was 2 guitars and a bass. I ran in literally to take a piss first before everybody else, so I could get on the guitar. Because you got stuck with whatever instrument you got. The other guitars, I got on this tank of a bass. And we started playing. I'd played bass before, never liked it. We started doing a 3-man jam from Jeff Beck. And we were playing for about 10, 15 minutes just jamming out. In my head, I'm going, I need to be playing bass. Before I could even say it, when we stopped, Al looked at me and he goes, you need to be playing bass. I'm like, I know.
What was it like when you guys first got the finalized lineup for Dogs Day? What was the was there electric at first, or was it?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh no, it was always electric,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Playing with these guys was like, once you started and got in that groove, it was over. I don't think anybody could touch us. It was just a certain groove we got in and it was over. But we knew we had the right people, especially when Dean got in. Dean had the most, I could say he had the most drive. Where we already went through one band already and was starting another one. He wanted to be with us and jam so bad that he had the whole drive that kept us going and going and going, which was kind of nice because when we didn't feel like doing something, he was like, come on, let's go,
And we were just jamming, he plugged in, he started playing with us, and you grabbed the mic and you're just like, just a Dog's Day!
Yeah.
And really, that was the first thing all 4 of us.
I think that actually took the name too from that day when we were saying Just a Dog's Day.
Yep.
Just a Dog's Day! And we were like, hey, that's a good name for a band.
You know what was always great for us was that people dug us because we were an original act.
Yeah.
We weren't playing all the cover band stuff.
Dog's Day from Buffalo's, you get that?
That's one of that was one of the local places
That's
that
like
we
what-
really
Check it out.
look at this, man. What's that? Oh, that was the Thanksgiving jam.
Yeah.
Right? Had enough turkey, have out some that was a fun memories. That was when we
That was
set up
fun.
the stage and he tried the lighter and he was torching shit and the feet.
Yeah.
Good
We almost
times,
burned the place
man.
down before Great
Yeah,
White. We did,
God
thank
forbid,
Yeah,
we didn't
no,
want to
should
do
ever
anything
heard.
like that, but
Feel bad for them guys.
We broke a few walls there and messed up a few seal
Yeah.
tiles.
I know that when we used to play Buff Stones, they used to close the door because of the fire code. And I know Buff Stones is small, but when you get a small bar and a lot of people, it looks great. It's like, I don't care if you fit 50 people. If you pack that bar, you pack the bar, period. We got, I don't know if we got booted or had to pay, but I know I stand on the bar and punch ceiling tiles out all the way down the bar. I jump up on top and walking over drinks and just punching ceiling tiles out of the ceiling.
Since you guys came up in the late 80s, early 90s, how did you guys self-promote yourselves? What was the most
I ran around like a crazy man.
Really did.
the best way of doing
Fly.
it?
Back then, it was pre-internet, man. He was like flyers, word of mouth. He'd go to every club around, every parking lot, flyers on people's windows. In the wipers, he'd put these pieces of paper that he
And this is
copied and
before,
all this
even
shit.
with Fairchild.
Boots on the ground is when they came up with that shit
Yeah.
to promote. Because other than that, bro, it's all word of mouth.
Yeah.
The only telephone you had was on your mom's
Holy
kitchen
crap.
wall. Yeah. Oh wow.
Look, what?
Something like that.
Yes,
Look at
I
that.
am.
Wow. Where did you find that?
I have,
Holy
I have everything.
cow, look at this thing.
I have everything he always wants.
Whoa.
Look at
Look
that.
at you, man. That is something that.
That's how you did it nowadays, guys. There was no Facebook.
Hey, man, that's something from the archives there, kid.
Yeah.
I think I'd be
You
30
put that
years
back
old.
exactly. Don't lose it.
I ain't losing
Yeah.
nothing.
Obviously. 30-year-old
Hey.
liar.
We did flyers at first, and we made bumper stickers, we made shirts, we did all kinds of different things. We could have did it more though, that's the problem. We could have been heavier on the promotions. A lot of people wanted to help, they never helped. I got money, I got this, they don't have this, nobody wants to put anything out, In order to make something work, you gotta shell out money first, that's the way it works.
Yeah. Pete always had a pissy attitude. That was him, Me, I went out and just word of mouth, flyers, talk to people, you know, hype. That's what you call it now. That's what I used to do. You had to go out, boots on the ground. And I had no problem with doing that. You know, you had to promote yourself.
I'll tell you, one of my fondest memories is the X Games thing you did.
Yep.
When
best.
man, we had it big, man. Big trusses, the big stage, right?
Motorcycles flying over our heads.
You killed it, man. One of my fondest memories of Dogs Day stuff, I gotta tell you, was that. We really,
Me too.
It was just big. You know,
Yeah.
dirt bikes flipping upside down and whatnot, and we're out there crazy jamming it up.
2 years before that, we did the Hauntings. And it was just, we just played one night for just to play the Hauntings, you know what I mean? I think you got some footage of that.
Yeah.
And then the following year we did it, which I don't have any of that footage, with that monster. We did the whole thing through Hauntings.
Like a big Halloween show.
Yeah, we did that. It wasn't like you see with these guys, you go there and you see a band playing. No, you went in there and you got the shit scared out of you. Literally, people were running out of there. They wouldn't even get out of their cars. It wasn't craziness. It was just great music, and we rode it every night. Then we worked towards the arena. Always wanted to. And I always seen motorcycles flying over my head while doing it. Just never seen it as any other way with doing the show.
What were some of the obstacles with getting that show off the ground, like getting it?
Everything you could possibly think of.
That whole thing went under because they were getting sued from ESPN for the esports, and they couldn't use the E in the name or extreme, or so all the advertising went under. They took it off the radio, and it only ended up with like, I don't know, 2,000 people.
Didn't really know too much about copywriting at the time, except for about music. They were doing X Games. I said, we were going to call it. So they're doing games. Let's do a festival. It's called X Fest. This one was just wasn't bad in the sense that the name had to be changed. It was bad in the sense that it was never done before, so changing the name wasn't an option. You know, it was tied in with something. Didn't really care that it wasn't about that. It wasn't about being part of it. ESPN don't really care about them. It was just about having people get together, have a good time, listen to some music, ride some motorcycles, skateboards, and have a good time. It was just never done before, and in this area, trying to do something that's really hard.
How did like the last Dog Days show go? Like how did that? Where was that? How
You
did that
want me to tell the truth exactly? They sent me off to prison.
Is that right?
Yeah, that bar, when I got to go to jail.
Is that right?
Because when he kind of went away for the 18 months or whatever it was, it kind of, everything like just collapsed. Freddie ended up disappearing, and he went with his brother for a little bit to play, but when Dean got out, it was never the same again, like about, you know, playing or whatever.
Sold drugs.
Okay.
You know, we partied, we needed money. You know, finance yourself. You want to go out, you want to do what you want to do, you want to live life, you need money. You know how to do that. So, never really looked at it back at it that way. It was just part of how I was living, I guess. You know, besides working and stuff like that. So it was either go get a second job and not have any fun, or do this, and hopefully you don't get no bad consequences. I did a 5 flat, 18 months of it through Broadway. I started in a camp there.
In my opinion, it could have been like the next step with the right management. We could have been playing some bigger shows, but it just wasn't meant to be.
All of you guys have been like in touch with each other since the end of the band, and like so
Just like a family, we fight,
listen.
we get mad at each other, we love each other.
We're busy people. Everybody's got their own life and kids and things and work, but we know where we're at.
Yeah.
Dean travels a lot, you know, and Pete's, you know, we know where everybody is indeed, man.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Your ignorance is understood. Time passed me by, and there I stood. Your time is in my hands. Please try to understand. 'Cause I'm alright. I'm okay. I'm alright. I'm okay.